Welcome to the Pathmonks Presents podcast. My name is Sean Donnelly Lewis, and in today's episode, I'm speaking with Trinity Nguyen, and she is the head of marketing at UserGems.com. Trinity, how's it going?
Great, thank you, Sean. Nice to meet you, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, ditto. Likewise. UserGems, tell us all about it.
Ooh,
what do you guys do?
Where to even start? So we are a solution for sales and marketers to help to provide buyer trigger events to help sales and marketers grow their pipeline with better leads. One of the trigger events that we are usually known for is we track your customer contacts, so your champions and buyers and users for job changes. So whenever they change their jobs, we'll create new leads in Salesforce, provide all the new information, including their new work email addresses. So your sales and marketing team can reach out to them. Since they bought you in the past, they're 3 times more likely to buy you again in the next company.
Okay, sounds short and sweet. So thinking about who your service would be for, is that for big companies, Fortune 500 companies, or just even mom and pop down the road who you're saying would like to keep tabs on their clients?
Our ideal customer profile so far is like mid-market, around like 200 employees, all the way up to 5,000. And in the last few months, it just keep going to getting closer to the enterprise size, so a little bit larger.
Okay. And thinking about growing the company, have you guys done how have you been able to do that? Has it been a lot of digital marketing, SEO, SEM, or has it been a more outbound driven company?
Yeah, so we're a startup. So we're about 2 years old. So our inbound, interesting, you mentioned, like, we haven't really invested much in the inbound, and that will be something we look into in Q2 and Q3 this year. But so far, majority of our pipeline is driven by purely outbound marketing and sales. So like 60-70% of our pipe is through account-based marketing and selling.
Okay. And what role does the website play in acquiring new clients?
Quite a bit, but it's a part of like a trifecta ABM campaign. It's 3. I mentioned 3 because we do a lot of one-to-one ABM campaigns to our target accounts, and the ad itself is already like personalized to the account. The moment they click onto it, they go to website, and the website sections of the website will also personalize to that account. But when we turn on the ad, we also turn on the outreach. So we use outreach for our sales engagement platform. So we reach out to the prospect, the potential buyers in these accounts, and also showing the ads for the 3rd time. So essentially, if we start a campaign on April 1st, if I was a target buyer, I would see from LinkedIn to website and then to the email, similar message. So that's why it's a trifecta. And It's been working out really well for us.
And thinking about the website for a second, what would you say is the strength of the website? Would it be the ability to convert, the quality of leads generated, the user experience? Which one of those 3?
Like for us or in general?
For you.
Good question. I think it's more on the ability to convert. Yeah, I think like the solution, like the use case that we talk about, like tracking your buyers and champions for job changes. The moment that you mention this to any VP of demand generation or VP of sales, they instantly get it. They're like, yeah, of course. Until by the time they go to the website and understanding how the product works, like the website for us is almost the middle of the funnel at this stage, because it doesn't require rocket science to understand this motion and use case. So it's more on the converting side. So they're just more like, okay, I understand the use case. I see the need. How does it work with the rest of my tech stack?
So when I talk to marketeers on the show, the website, the strengths are usually not as long. The list of strengths are usually not as long as the strengths of weakness, right? If you think we could improve the website, what would it be? Would it be the ability to convert, the leads generated, or the user experience?
I would say user experience. There's always, if you ask me, like, what are the things you want to improve? I would have like a laundry list of stuff, right? Everyone wants everything. But I think the user experience, our team is pretty slim right now. We're growing, we're hiring a lot, but I definitely think that we can work on more on like how how do you nurture people, like personalize that experience on our website, depending on what they see on this page versus that page, this section versus that section, watching this video versus that blog post, or listening to one of our podcasts, for example, then we would be able to personalize that experience so that we can move them down the funnel faster.
And coming back to what you guys do, just for everyone listening, what would you say separates you guys? What do you guys do differently than other people that might actually occupy the same space?
Great question.
Or are there other people that occupy the same space? I don't know.
I know that's my hesitation too. So frankly speaking, we don't really have a direct competitor per se, but because it's not, for some reasons, not a lot of people have been doing this. Like you either can do it manually or outsource it to someone to do it manually, which is not the segment that we're targeting. Like just because they have so many contacts and users, so doing manually just does not make sense. But the questions we usually get asked is someone like LinkedIn do the same thing? Like you can add people and you can track it, but LinkedIn is not made for this. So like it's a social media platform, right? And they have a sales tool, but it's just not made for this use case. And I don't want to bore you with it. So how do we differentiate? Is we build for the way that sales reps work. Like we don't require users to go log into somewhere else to use this platform. We integrate directly into Salesforce. So the way it works for all of our customers is like, say, the first week of the month, the sales reps or marketers wake up and all these hot leads already sitting in there. And the only thing you need to do is add them to the sequences that you want to. But that's it. And then you have all the information about that person. Like, hey, this person was a buyer at this last company, and they gave you this NPS score of 9 out of 10. You have all the history compact. We build it so that you can just easily plug and play and act on it. So I think that'll be the differentiator. And we refresh every month. So that's accuracy too.
Very cool. Yeah, it sounds like what you guys are doing is really exciting and practical. This is, I just want to switch gears here for a second. And thinking, when I have a marketing person on the show, I love to just pick their brain about marketing in general. So when it comes to innovation, what would you personally, as a marketeer, what would you say is the biggest challenge in marketing when you want to try and innovate something with innovation?
The biggest challenge, like to try out new things, you mean?
Yeah.
Like for us, I would say like how to prioritize. I mean, there are always new channels, medium formats that you can try. There's so many different tools. How do we prioritize it, frankly? Because our company, we love to try new things, and we've tried a lot of crazy stuff. Some fail and some worked, but it's just how do we prioritize our resources and time so that we make sure that we do the one with the biggest bang for your buck.
Yeah, and thinking about ROI, what would you say is the biggest challenge in marketing for ROI?
I guess you want me to say attribution. Attribution is a pain. It's very difficult. I understand why everyone wants it. I also was at a company where we spent 9 months of data scientists, data analysts, consultants, you name it, to build out what we were hoping to be the perfect attribution. It's just very difficult. And the buyer journey is not linear, and you know this because you work with marketers. If someone see our ad, they screenshot it, send it to a Slack to one of their lieutenants to reach out. That lieutenant never saw our ad, never got our email. So how do you trace all that stuff? So, I mean, I don't know if you want to hear this, but within our company so far, we're not focusing too much on the attribution, just because I went through that process before. It just didn't work.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And so as a marketeer, I guess I just want to know if you could focus on one thing in order to improve the whole marketing process, which would it be? Would it be the road mapping? Would it be the growth initiatives? Would it be the marketing messaging or the reporting? Which one of those 4 do you feel like is the thing?
I would say messaging, the messaging and positioning.
Okay.
We're focusing a lot right now for the next few months on the top of the funnel components. Like I mentioned earlier, once people in our funnel, it sounds so bad. We keep calling people like this, but once in the funnel, they usually understand the value prop really well. but how do I get the VP of marketing and sales to wake up thinking about this use case? And that if they don't do this, like tracking the customers for job changes, then they're missing out like 10-15% of that pipeline that they could have easily won.
Just thinking about you as a leader, just to once again change gears, what kind of content do you consume to educate yourself and grow as a professional and as a person?
Podcast. Right now is podcast.
Okay, big
Yeah.
podcast phase.
Yeah, I wasn't. Well, no, I like listening to podcasts. It's convenient. You can do a lot of different things. Webinar is good too, but I usually consume them on demand just because of the schedule. A podcast is good. I kind of dabble into Clubhouse a little bit, but so far I cannot say that I've learned a lot through Clubhouse just yet.
Okay, I haven't tried it yet. You're just thinking that for you, it hasn't been very helpful.
No, I think it's just, but then they making a lot of changes. But so far, it's just a lot of, initially it was really good because all the experts are sharing, but then it's hard to keep up the level of knowledge if you go live every week. So not many rooms have the right experts. So what you end up is like a lot of people kind of ramble on. I like podcasts a little bit better because you can edit out all the etc. Without losing the natural and spontaneousness. We have a podcast too, so I'm a little bit biased there, but I also consume a lot of podcasts.
All right, so since we're slowly coming to the end of the interview, I want to jump into our rapid fire questions. So it's just short and sweet. I just ask you a question, you answer as honestly as possible. How's it sound?
Ooh. Sounds good, I'll try.
Trinity, what was the last book that you read?
Oh, dang it, I have the worst memory ever. It's not, this one is not the last one, but this is the first one come to mind. Matthew McConaughey has this like biography. It's really entertaining to read, the actor. Okay. Yeah, but it's not the last one. I just can't remember
the first person on the podcast that has said the Matthew McConaughey biography. I like it.
It's really entertaining. You should check it out. It's really fun to read. I didn't expect much, but I heard it from another CMO. I'm like, you know what? I'll give it a try. It's really fun.
I'm sure the co-writer, I'm sure the editor was the one that was writing the book. What's the one single thing?
He actually wrote it.
Okay.
It's from his diaries. No, he's actually from his diaries as kids. All right.
What is the single, I'm going to get us back on track. What's the single thing that your company is focused on at the moment the most?
Customer happiness. So we sign on a lot of customers recently. So we want to make sure that everyone's happy and see the value of the product.
If there were no boundaries in technology, what would be the one thing you want to have fixed for your company today?
I would love to have kind of like this marketing automation platform that is like none of the existing one today can do.
Okay.
Yeah, it's vague, but.
What's the last thing that kept you awake at night about your company?
Our content strategy.
Okay. If you were to start over, let's just say your professional career, if you were to start over, what piece of advice would you give yourself?
Just stick to your gut. I know since I was a kid, I knew I wanted to be a marketer, but I'm like, you know what? Eventually I'll get there. So might as well explore other stuff. So I was in finance, I was in all kinds of roles, but in hindsight, sure, just, started with that.
All right. Wow. From a young age wanting to be a marketer. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of crazy.
All right, everyone. That was Trinity Nguyen at usergems.com. You can check out all their work there. Trinity, thank you so much for being on the show today. The last piece of business that we have is the last word. And this is where I just let you have the floor. If you feel like you want to sum everything up, or if there's something that we've forgotten today, I just want to give you the last word. The floor is yours.
Track your customers for job changes. You're going to miss out 10 or 15% of your pipeline if you don't. These are the hardest leads. So go do it.
Great. Thanks for your time today, Trinity.
Thank you.